guys, today I have a pretty cool little concealed carry pistol that I'm going to show you guys. I know I say that a lot, but in terms of where we came from, this is a huge improvement. Today I've got the Kimber Evo SP, the SP standing for Striker Pistol, duh. The last time Kimber made a really wild, careless attempt at a striker pistol, it was the Kimber Solo. I've got one. I guess I was okay with the looks of it. It didn't look that bad. Its performance kind of reminded me, do you guys remember the Remington R51 that Remington reintroduced? How much of a clunky, junky thing that was? That's what the Solo reminded me of. The Kimber Solo had that same kind of almost hold your mouth right kind of thing, and a prayer that you said before each shot to hope that everything that was supposed to happen actually happened. That's kind of what it was. And I know that sounds like I'm exaggerating, but those of you that purchased and owned or still own a Kimber Solo know exactly what I'm talking about. Very finicky on ammo and all that good stuff. Quite the opposite here, guys. Quite the opposite. I fired this thing several boxes today. I'm probably about 150 rounds into it. Probably going to shoot another 150 rounds. This is a good attempt. The engineers took their time now. Now, back then when the Solo came out, people would buy anything. This was during the Obama years, and it didn't matter what you put out, it was going to get purchased. Well, that's not the case today. If you notice, a lot of these gun manufacturers today are having to be either a little bit more innovative or a little bit more quality control focused. Hence the Kimber Evo. They did a good job. The engineers definitely earned their money on this one. This thing has a great little, it's listed as a 6 or 7 pound trigger pull, but I gotta tell you, this thing is very crisp. If you want to look at it in terms of, say, a Glock, this is very similar to a Glock trigger, and of course this is a striker fired pistol. There's absolutely no comparison. And I know we all have our own thoughts about where Kimber's quality is today, but look, this is an amazing little trigger these guys have right here. The mag release is ambidextrous, very similar to all the other striker pistols on the market today. You do have a visual cock indicator over here. You can actually feel to see that you're cocked to. I'm not sure what the real value is in that, to be quite honest with you, because it doesn't mean that the gun is actually loaded. You know how sometimes you have your indicator that's on the barrel itself over here, on the slide pushing up from the barrel? In many cases, that means that a round is actually in there. This is very similar to the old Walther P99, I believe. I'm not sure exactly what it was. Some of the old ones that used to have the indicator on the back. Again, it's simply a cocking indicator. It's not a loading indicator. And I want to draw that distinction because it's really important that we don't fall into thinking that that means we have necessarily a round in there, because you don't want to carry this thing for concealed carry, which is what it's targeted after. You do not want to carry this thing for concealed carry and have the peace of mind by putting your gun in and out of your holster every single day, seeing that indicator, thinking I'm good to go, and then when you go to pull your pistol, you actually find out that, okay, no, I wasn't. There was not a round in there. I was just cocked. Really important. I think we just don't get lost in that, I guess is my point. Understand that it is what it is. It's just kind of a little unusable gimmick. But yeah, whatever. It's there, okay? Now, with that being said, I would like to look at some of the other features of this gun. I do like the very fact that it has front serrations because they look better. My only knock about this is the fact that I don't know what they were thinking when they designed these serrations. Now, the reason why I say that, I'm extremely OCD, and I like things to be lined up. I like things to be proportionate. I like things to look right. When I just slightly glance at them, they should be visually appealing to me. The angle on this slide is different than the grip angle. Yes, it may sound like I'm splitting hairs, but it matters to me. And it matters to some other people out there too, I'm sure. What the engineers should have done is taken the frame and designed their serrations to match that. Yes, I know it seems like I'm splitting hairs again. I'm going to tell you that over and over again, but it matters. It matters, guys. That's to me a big snafu on their part. I do like how they did mold the slide to actually fit around the frame as well. It's kind of a weird little transition where it does go from the slide to the frame. It's like the bevel is farther back, but it seems like it was possibly planned like that, because you do notice kind of a little curve at the very bottom of the slide that aims back towards that bevel on the frame, which is a little bit farther backwards than the bevel that's actually on the on the slide. So I got to give them at least a little bit of credit, not like what Glock did a couple years ago where they did not bevel the frame. Or, no, excuse me, they didn't bevel the frame, but they beveled the slide on it. At least they beveled both, and it does look like it was an intentional effort on that. They also crowned the barrel nicely. I love a well-crowned barrel. Not only does that look really, really good, but it's extremely functional. If for some reason you drop this pistol muzzle down onto the pavement or into a gravel driveway or something like that, whether the slide is forward or the slide is back, you can especially see it whenever you have your slide back. What's going to happen is your rifling for the inside of that barrel is actually, it's protected by this crowning. Unless you really got to hit this thing pretty hard to get all the way down to where the crowning meets the actually rifling. So what you would do is you would damage the outside of your muzzle is what would happen, which would leave the inside of the muzzle lower down perfectly fine. Your rifling would not get damaged, so your shots would still be fine. You would just have an ugly gun at that point. Very nice job though. It looks really good. They did a good job of crowning. They also did a really good job of making sure that the edge of the barrel where it ended the crowning actually coincides with the slide. So that's a nice blend right there as it goes from one to the other. Very, very nice. The lines per inch on the front looks like about 25 lines per inch. That's really nice. The back strap is nice. I know that they have some kind of, and I haven't taken this thing apart, but they have some kind of technology or whatever you want to call it. I think you remove the rear back strap, and that actually allows you to remove your side panels of your grip. There's no hardware required on the side, as you can see. No screw holes or anything like that on the side of the grip, but these grip panels are removable. So very nice little gun here. Let's take this thing for a shot. Okay, I've got 2 magazines that ships with the actual Evo itself. The magazines themselves hold 7. As I was loading the magazines with my Armscore ammo, I noticed when I got to that 6th round, it seemed like it held up a little bit, like it was a little bit more difficult. So I just assumed I was at the end, I was full. But I remembered seeing that it held 7 rounds. And again, it felt like at 6 I was done. But as I put that 7th round in there, it held in perfectly fine. So yeah, these are 2 7-round magazines that come with the Kimber Evo. All right, here we go, guys. One thing that I do notice, I definitely notice a snappiness. You know, when you have a smaller pistol like this and you're shooting a full size normally, and you especially a 9mm, you very seldom feel any sort of felt recoil or as if the gun might be getting away from you. Now, granted, I don't feel like the gun is getting away from me, but I have so little of my hand on this thing. Even my left hand, my main support hand going up front, there's just not a lot for me to put my hand on. In fact, if I was holding a full size, see where my thumb would be on a full size, so I have to kind of hold back a little bit, which is pushing my grip a little bit farther back, which means there's less hand on the actual pistol. So yeah, again, it's not flying out of my hand by any stretch, but you certainly notice that you're shooting a smaller gun. I point that out because people, and usually men for the most part, are notorious for trying to pair up a new shooting female with a very small gun just because, well, small hands and she must need a small gun. We got to keep that in mind. We got to keep in mind that whenever we hand a female who is a little bit weaker, I'm sorry, here we go with the hate mail. The PC police are going to hate this, but women are factually, in most cases, weaker than a man, okay? I said it. So when you hand this to a smaller, weaker female, and she's shooting the exact same round that we shoot in a full-size pistol, now she's shooting in a pistol that's 2/3 the size of what we normally shoot. It's going to give her a little bit more of a crazy recoil, a little bit more of a, I don't want to say uncontrollable recoil, because she's still probably going to be fine with it, but at the same time, it's not going to be as manageable as us. Us being bigger, a little bit stronger, and we're holding a bigger gun with more mass to it. So we're giving all the strikes against a female whenever we do that. I think it's always a good idea before you introduce a woman, or a smaller man for that matter, weaker man, older man. Before you give them a small gun like this, probably let them appreciate the round that you're going to introduce them to, like a 9mm, in a full-size gun first. Let them, and sometimes those bigger guns can look intimidating, and this one here doesn't look intimidating, but it definitely has more felt recoil when it comes to that. But sometimes you can hand them that bigger gun and let them really get that mental intimidation away from them, and they'll approach this smaller gun knowing that, okay, now I have a general idea how that round's going to feel, and it maybe isn't quite of a negative introduction, so to speak, to them whenever they put this smaller pistol in their hand. Overall, this thing feels good. I'm going to shoot it a few more times, and we'll wrap it up here in a second. Friends, I got to tell you, I do like this Kimber Evo. A lot of times whenever we talk about Kimber nowadays, the compliments aren't exactly flowing. Whose fault is that? Call Kimber's customer service and you tell me. I think that in general, we have a lot more gun owners today. So what that means is we have a lot more opinions out there. Honestly, that's how it works. So we've got a lot more people out there who probably, even if they're not seasoned gun guys, their expectations in many cases are a little bit high. The Kimber Solo was a big time flop. Kimber knows that. Kimber acknowledges that. Kimber does not sell the Kimber Solo anymore. You tell me who acknowledged what. They did it right with this Kimber Evo SP. Cool little pistol, very nicely done. I like the finish on this thing. It looks like it's going to be very easy to keep clean. They've been using the same finish on a lot of their 1911s, so I know they've perfected this finish and they've got it right. So it's not like they're introducing something new to us. I got to tell you, the reset on the trigger is incredible. With it being a 6 or 7 pound trigger, I know that's not crazy high, but some people brag, oh, I got a 2 pound trigger. This thing here feels like a much lighter trigger pull. Maybe it's because the creep is not as bad. Maybe it's because you don't have quite as long that you're waiting for this thing to break. But let me show you the reset on this thing also. Look at the reset on this. Now watch. See how short that reset is? Very short. I mean, you're hardly going forward at all on this thing, and it's already dropping into place. So you got an audible reset and you can feel that reset. Man, I like that. It feels really good. It's kind of unusual because I notice when I shoot this thing that with this magazine extension so far that we see on the bottom, which is allowing people to rest that pinky on and at least if nothing else mentally feel like they have a better grip on the gun. It's kind of weird because when you shoot it, you feel the magazine moving around. It's not like it's flying out, but I almost get the feeling like, oh, am I losing my magazine? And you'll notice the way they put this mag catch in here, which by the way, it's got great texture on it. I really love the texture on that thing. But you feel like you could accidentally hit it. One thing I would like to see Kimber do is build some kind of a little fence around it. Like you see a lot of especially your concealed carry guns, but a lot of your pistols today have a bit of a fence built around there, or they'll have some room to where you actually can push into it. This thing protrudes a little bit, it sticks out. It makes me wonder if somebody were to put this in a leather holster, if for some reason that leather holster might disengage or engage that mag catch and drop this thing loose. So shooting it, I didn't feel like I was pushing it out, but my thumb was resting right above it, and then my support hand goes over the top. So again, I wasn't close to knocking it out. I just wonder if somebody's getting a little bit different grip than me, if for some reason, if their thumbs are further down or something, if they might dislodge that thing. But again, I feel it moving as I'm shooting. You know, obviously the magazine is pushing rounds up in there, so you're gonna feel some movement, but it was noticeable to me. True Glow sights on here, tritium sights. That's very cool. I also like the way that they have the ball cuts on top. Ball cuts serve 2 purposes in most cases, 3 if you want to count looks. They look really good. I just like the custom look that they put on there. It's just got a very refined look to it. It also can actually knock glare off. If you're aiming at your sights, you're using your sights and you're aiming, it can take some of the glare off of the top of the pistol if you're out in some pretty bright sun or even high density lights that are above you. And also it's an aiming aid. When you're aiming that, it gives you almost like a landing strip that your eyes are pushing down that slide and it's going straight down there. You're just naturally wanting to straighten everything up. So if you've got a canted grip or something like that that's not quite even, your eyes will be drawn to those ball cuts a whole lot quicker than noticing the overall slide, and you're just going to instinctively go ahead and flatten that thing back out and get it straight, pointing down more towards your target from your eyes going down. So it's a nice little aiming aid that I like. Again, it's a multi-function thing, and heck, look at it this way, guys. if for some crazy reason your front sight falls off or something like that, you've still got those ball cuts that are going to help you line your pistol up and get you down range and aimed where you need to in the event you're using this thing to protect yourself or your family. Also like that edge on the rear sight, very nice. A lot of the concealed carry pistols are doing this nowadays, where they have that shelf on there to where you can manipulate this thing with your belt or on a table or something like that with one hand in the event your support hand is damaged. So very cool. I think Kimber thought of almost everything on this thing. I gotta tell you, I like it. If I could just get them to appreciate the OCD guys, OCD are people too, and put these cuts on here a little bit more in line with the grip, I would have to say this thing would be almost a 10 to me at this point. But that's a big knock to me, because if I'm spending this kind of money on a pistol, I want everything. I want it to be visually appealing as well. So again, kudos to Kimber. You did a good job. You definitely put that Kimber Solo to rest and pretty much far out of most of our memories at this point.